In the thick wilderness of Cautionary Kruger National Park, a female leopard carefully nurses her 3 cubs inside a hidden cave. On bright afternoons, the young ones play near thorn bushes, always under the caring yet alert gaze of their mother. She frequently takes them out to the open ground near the cave, showing them how to move silently and how to remain unseen when danger approaches. Though they are still too small to hunt, their instincts to stalk and leap are awakened each time they practice. One early morning, when the forest was still damp with dew, the mother leopard left the cave to search for food. The 3 cubs, full of energy, continued to chase fluttering yellow butterflies. Suddenly, the youngest spotted a gray rabbit feeding quietly at the forest's edge. Its curious eyes glistened, and in a burst of excitement, the cub charged forward, racing past tree stumps, thorny branches, and rotting logs scattered along the forest floor. The rabbit darted quickly into tall grass, releasing a sharp scent that made the cub even more determined to follow. The distance between the cub and its siblings grew quickly. Driven by thrill, it didn't notice how far it had strayed. When it finally paused to rest, panting, the cub realized it had lost both the rabbit and its mother. The cry of raptors circling above deepened its fear. Not knowing which way to return, the cub cautiously pressed forward, hoping to find a safe place in the vast and unfamiliar Kruger forest. After many hours wandering along twisted trails, the cub suddenly caught the strong scent of food drifting through thick foliage. Following the smell, it arrived at a small wooden hut, a ranger's rest stop beside the calm Sabi stream. The sound of wood crackling in a stove and soft laughter carried through the air, making the cub more curious than cautious. Moving carefully across the weedy yard, it avoided 2 dogs asleep beneath shaded trees. Its round eyes followed every sound and movement inside the hut through a half-open window, filled with both wonder and caution. Paraphrased script. Part 2. Inside the hut, Ranger Ella McConnor was carefully writing her morning patrol notes, her expression serious with concentration. Suddenly, she looked up and caught sight of 2 dark eyes staring through the window. Her heartbeat quickened. Years of training warned her that the cub's mother might be close. Keeping calm, she slowly stepped back and reached for the walkie-talkie resting on the wooden desk. Her voice was clear but urgent as she radioed her teammates for immediate support. Within minutes, 2 rangers arrived carrying nets, poles, and a small transport cage. The cub, however, did not run. It simply blinked, as if studying their intentions. One ranger moved forward carefully, keeping distance to avoid frightening it. The cage door was opened, revealing a soft blanket and a bowl of fresh milk. Hunger made the cub hesitate briefly before it stepped inside, sniffing continuously. Once all 4 paws were in, the door was gently shut without a loud noise. Ella knelt down, offering a reassuring smile. Her soft words seemed to calm the young animal. The cage was placed securely onto the back of the Wying Kruger Ranger Station's Land Rover pickup, and the short journey began toward the Wildlife Care Center near the Crocodile River. The cub lay still, watching every movement through the cage slits. Ella sat beside it, her expression firm and caring, determined to reunite it with its mother. The vehicle rolled along winding dirt roads, carrying the fragile hope of a reunion. At the rescue station, the cub was taken into the nursery room designed to keep it quiet, shielded from harsh lights and noise. A veterinarian carefully examined it, confirming no major injuries, only slight dehydration and fatigue. A bottle of warm milk was offered, which it drank slowly before curling on the soft blanket, eyes half closed in calm rest. Paraphrased script. Part 3. On the blanket, the cub occasionally shivered, as though searching for its mother's warmth. Ella and her fellow rangers gathered at the round table nearby, planning their next steps. They agreed to attempt bringing the cub close to wild leopards in the region, watching carefully for signs of recognition. The patrol unit prepared binoculars, cameras, tranquilizer guns, and GPS devices. Their main objective, to find a female leopard who had recently lost a cub. If the attempt failed, they would widen the search area across the vast Kruger terrain. Despite harsh conditions, Ella believed strongly that the cub deserved to be returned to its family as quickly as possible. That evening, Ella gazed through the window frame where moonlight touched the forest canopy. The cub slept soundly, unaware that its journey back would begin at dawn. As the sun rose, the rangers set out into the dense woodland, about 10 kilometers from the rescue base. Through their binoculars, they soon spotted 2 adult leopards resting beneath the shade of a marula tree, a male and a female. Hope stirred among the team. They placed the cub's cage carefully on open ground, about 30 meters from the pair. Slowly, the door was unlatched. The cub stepped out hesitantly, eyes locked on the 2 adult leopards. A faint, trembling cry escaped its mouth, a call for recognition and protection. But the response was not what they hoped for. Both adult leopards immediately growled and moved back warily, bristling with caution. The cub recoiled, startled and frightened, its eyes wide with fear and disappointment. Ella quickly realized these were not its true parents. Speaking gently, she coaxed the cub back toward the cage, using a soft, steady tone to calm it. The rangers repacked their gear and prepared to ret. All right, here's Part 4. Next Armand 300 words, rewritten with the same structure and word balance. Paraphrased script, Part 4. On the way back, the rangers agreed to widen their search the following day, pushing deeper into the untouched forest of Kruger. Ella gripped the steering wheel firmly, her eyes fixed ahead, her determination unwavering. She had no plans of abandoning the effort. By the second day, the team expanded their search area by another 50 kilometers, venturing into remote woodland where human footprints were rare. Relying on their field experience, they tracked paw, prints in the sand, and the faint scent clinging to leaves and branches. Hours passed before they finally came across a mother leopard with 2 cubs resting beneath the massive roots of an ancient baobab tree. Ella stopped the vehicle, quietly observing every movement. Her instincts told her this could be the true family. Inside the cage, the lost cub suddenly cried out loudly, its call filled with urgency and longing. The mother leopard immediately raised her head, ears sharp, eyes focused on the sound. Ella carefully opened the cage door. The young cub bolted out at once, racing directly toward the leopard. The mother approached slowly, sniffing her cub before rubbing her head affectionately against it, releasing a low, soothing growl. The other 2 cubs bounded over, touching noses and wrapping themselves around their sibling. The sound of rustling leaves blended with the comforting calls of the reunited family. The scene was so moving that many rangers stood silently, unable to speak. Ella's lips curved into a faint smile. 2 days of effort had finally been rewarded. She quietly signaled her teammates to withdraw, giving the leopard family privacy to embrace this moment of reunion. The cubs clung tightly to their mother, framed by the golden afternoon light shining through the forest canopy. Paraphrased script, Part 5. A ranger's camera clicked, capturing the image of 3 leopard cubs pressed close to their mother under the shaded canopy. The afternoon sun filtered through the leaves, turning their yellow-spotted coats into something glowing, like a living painting. Slowly, the mother leopard guided her cubs away, their forms disappearing into the deep green of Kruger's forest. Ella remained still, her chest swelling with quiet pride. She knew moments like these defined the purpose of her work. Another rescue had been marked as a success in the records of Kruger Station, a story that would spread among rangers as proof of what persistence could achieve. The tale was later shared widely, becoming an emblem of resilience and the power of wild motherhood. For Ella, the memory of that day etched itself deeply into her career, a reminder of why she dedicated herself to conservation. Her colleagues exchanged few words on the drive back, the silence filled with a sense of accomplishment. every hour, spent searching, every difficult decision had led to a reunion that justified the effort. The cub, once lost and frightened, was no longer alone. Ella leaned back against the seat, her eyes turning toward the silver sky above the forest line. She knew this was more than just another successful mission. It was a story that would inspire others, proof that even in the most uncertain circumstances, hope could guide the way back. For the young leopard, it was a return to family, and for the rangers, a victory for conservation. In Ella's heart, the image of the cub rushing back to its mother would forever remain one of the most meaningful moments of her career, a memory as enduring as the wild itself.